Hey guys, it's me Pluty, and there's a lot of shit I gotta discuss in this video and all, so I'm just gonna snap right to it. I'm using us and our servers to make their own content actually, and just a lot of hypocritical statements that I gotta say, about Zero, and including Gentry as well, I'm gonna get right to it, starting with Zero, and because the dumbass who decided to raid my server, and it's on my friend's server, and is doing this all for content on your channel and all. Just all of this, let me be honest, all of this happened because of a simple ban he've gotten from a server.
Uh-oh. It looks like it's all over, boys. They've outed me. I've been exposed and I'm currently in hiding. If you see them, tell them I'm dead. Or maybe don't, because unlike these cowardly fucks, I don't have to block anyone nor hide away on an alt simply because I'm too much of a pussy to address a simple allegation, let alone ones with no context for that matter. Well, it seems my dirty laundry has been aired for everyone to see. Now obviously I have some explaining to do. For the past month or so, or maybe it's been 2 to 3 months, it's kind of hard to tell when all you do is ban people from your server and act like a smug dickhead congratulating yourself like you've done the world a favor. I've been talked about by not one, but multiple hate bandwagoners when I've been minding my own business for the past 2 months. Apparently there's a fourth, but this dumpster's just a hype man for the rest of them, so his opinions don't matter. Fuck him. You know, the irony of all these people going after me behind the scenes and having the audacity to call me a coward, I'm sure you're wondering. So, what did I do to piss off a literal shithead with a mullet that looks like a gender-bent Christian, Nancy Drew's retarded nephew, and the big gay cross-dressing lolicon-loving wannabe femboy himself? Alright, for preface, let me just say that it hurts to even bring this situation up again, because this was somebody that I once considered a friend. Matter of fact, somebody that we all considered a friend. Everybody from our old friend group even. And the fact that you stoop so low as to bring this shit up, mind you, a situation that happened 3.5 to 5 years ago that I'm still trying to forget about to this day when it had nothing to do with you, is one of the main reasons I even chose to respond to you in the first place. So let me give a quick rundown of the situation for some of you, because some of y'all probably don't know. Or I've never told you until now. In 2023, somebody that I once considered a close friend of mine in BBTax FGC, that's the fighting game community, got outed off the internet for being a potential file because of her sexual behavior towards most of the minors in our friend group at the time. Gross stuff, I know. Now, a major thing stated back then was that this chick was talking nasty, saying all types of disgusting stuff around the minors in our group chat and what she would do to them. Obviously, I can't go into details, but you get the idea. And I hope she gets the idea and learn her lesson by now that what she did back then was wrong. And I hope you're never allowed near children again. Which is probably why y'all niggas are really trying hard to push y'all agenda affiliate onto us, because y'all niggas like lolly porn and y'all niggas yourselves hang around these cornballs and you're jealous that people like this got to do it and you didn't, but I digress. Any ties to her when she got called out that day was cut that same month. 2-year-long friendship type shit. Smoked. She went her own way after the situation and we went ours. Shit happens. And it was what it was and it is what it is. Now as for the reason I made this post I have shown on the screen was because I was also accused of being a because of an NSFW picture I sent to one of my younger homies at the time when this acclaimed picture had no further context beyond that of a simple image. I was dragged into this situation because I chose to be a homie and defend my female friend who at the time was being accused, which is what also got me put on the spot and littered with allegations too. And I know what some of you might be thinking, Zero, why did you defend her? And my answer to that question is very simple. It's because I wanted to believe that we had something special together, possibly a relationship even, because I was a simp. But I soon figured that it was all fake after the whole situation was pretty much done with. After she decided to leave the internet for good, everybody went about their own business. And after about a month later, I started to reflect on the whole situation and realize how much of a fake friend and overall manipulative snake that she was. So I eventually say f her and came to realize that I was in the wrong for defending her behavior and took to apologizing to my former friends for the way I acted. The minor and my accuser, of course, accepted my apology, which set us back on standing ground again. And I took the situation as a learning experience and made it my business to make sure I held myself accountable by making sure other people didn't make the same mistake I did. Now, as thirsty as Nico or the rest of these Neptunia fucktards are for grabbing at any picture or screenshot they can get to twist it out of context. I know that sounds ironic coming from me. The screenshot he posted where I admitted to sending this to a minor, of course, is actually true. I'm not defending it or trying to make it seem less serious by comparison to what I call the same people out for, but you gotta remember, this was a situation from years ago and I didn't know any better. I was a terminally online loser that wanted to impress everybody around me. Either that or I was trying to find ways to cope with my 7 years of pent up anger from my constant years of physical, mental, and psychological abuse from my mom's shitty ex-husband contributed to my mental state. But at the end of the day, I learned from my experience. I did a bad thing. I did bad shit, but as long as I take strides to make sure that it doesn't happen again, I won't let a situation from 3 to 5 years ago define who I am. And I sure as hell won't let you Neptunia f***tards define who I am either, because you don't know the first thing about me to make these claims on me, and you don't know the kind of person I am, point blank period. It's honestly sad the lengths that you would go to discredit my reputation by bringing up a situation from 3 to 5 years ago that had nothing to do with any of you. Mind you, this was a private situation that even my friend who was my accuser at the time even said that it should have stayed private before he apologized and we made up. So I don't know what you think you can get out of this by bringing up something that we all move past. And if you were actually smart and did your actual research, Nico, instead of getting mad like a dumbass because I made fun of your lolicon obsession, you would have been smart enough to read between the lines in the post itself where I specifically stated that I was also a minor. That enough context for you? But then again, you morons don't take the time out of your day to read. In fact, if you take the time to read out the post where I actually admitted to doing it, it says, I sent NSFW to a minor, but so-and-so fails to acknowledge that I was also a minor. And if you dig even further, not once did I ever mention being an adult at the time, nor did any allegations of pedophilia against me were ever proven. That was just a poor judgment call from a friend and a not so clever nod to you, Blanca Louie, and an acne covered, sweaty, overweight looking neckbeard that allows groomers themselves, ironic, in her server. Not unlike someone we know. Gotcha. Yes, Game Ministry Evolved, the server that eventually began to fuel my habitual hate train down the rabbit hole towards the people of the Neptunia fandom and their actions. By the way, this is all satire except my actual hate for the fandom itself, so please take my tone with a grain of salt. Alright, so this is Blanca Louie. Sound familiar? You all might remember him as the guy whose server I've taken down about last year or so. It seems like he's back. Back and hiding away on alt accounts, ever only popping his head out of the deep dark crevices in his mom's basement to make slick remarks about me instead of ever confronting me directly before he slithers back into the deep dark hole like the snake he is. So let's see how well these remarks about me holds up against what we already have uncovered. So right off the bat, I'm going to address the elephant in the room. My ban. Frankly, I don't care about Blanca Louie's server and I never did, nor did I care about getting banned by his admin team even if they did seem a little biased and came off as terminally online gooners. In fact, the reason I even went on my tirade in the first place was not because of the ban, but rather the principle behind it. You retards listening? Just wanted to make sure that you're using your brains for this section and not going off of your own personal bias again. But it's not like any of you are smart enough to think for yourselves anyways. So I was the one that initially started the entire debacle with Evolve simply because of Blanca Louie's poor and neglectful management of the server, or rather his members' behavior at the time. After I was banned from the server, part of me decided to be petty while another part of me not wanting to feel disrespected because of his power abusing admin's bias and because this community has a problem with defending lolicons and groomers, I made a video on what is now the basis for our long-lasting and spoiled beef. Of course, this video at first alleged that this sad sack of shit might have been a groomer amongst other things. The video releases to some moderate success and within the next few hours, I receive a plethora of friend requests all wanting to share their questions about the video. So for clarification, I already knew this wasn't going to go well beforehand, but I did it anyways despite knowing that there was going to be a clear bias against me. One by one, I'm asked the same 3 questions. What proof do I have? Where did I source my information? And why would I make such a claim without any evidence by a rotating cast of people that are terminally late to the situation, and therefore have to echo the same questions, and definitely not because calling me a Taurus is all they have to pin me with and repeating the same sentiment over and over to their so-called friends being the easiest way to condemn someone in this community. Absolutely not. Side note here, we actually came up with the idea to say that our friend Ty, another friend of ours, made the video simply for the fact that I thought trolling retarded Neptunia fans at the time was funny, and because I like seeing them get their panties in a twist every time something about their shitty behavior is brought to light, and simply because the reactions are funny. So eventually, Blanca Louie, who was the server owner at the time, sends me a friend request and we engage in a discussion about my video and why I would choose to make it in the first place, knowing that I barely had any evidence to work on. Clearly this was escalated by the fact that we were banned from his server because, or after the fact, that I had accidentally misinterpreted a joke when I didn't know or understand the full context, labeling Evolve as some sort of predator den when it was just some random random dickhead coming in the server to troll. Little ironic, they labeled me as one the following week. My friends who were unintentionally yet still involved felt a little bit different about it though, and as word about Ty's conversation got back to me, I started plastering Blanca Louie with questions about a plethora of things, such as calling said friend racist for having the hard R in his bio. Spoiler alert, he's actually black, and also because you can't actually see the word unless you willingly click on his profile, and if you weren't stalking his profile to begin with. Wrongfully accusing my friend of ear raping in his voice chat channel when I literally told him myself that he wasn't the one doing it, and in fact was actually me and not him, but still insisted that my friend did in fact do it just to have any reason to ban what they refer to as trolls, and a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm not gonna get into because he's just too irrelevant. But at the time, I wanted to have a civil discussion about this with Blanca Louie and his admins, and so did my friends who were also involved, and even Blanca agreed to message them. That really didn't turn out to be the case, however, as Blanca Louie resorted to making the excuse that he would create this group with his admins so we'd be able to clear the air on this, but instead was found out to have left the group and ghosted us entirely. I ignored it, of course, because I was pretty much over the situation at this point and I wanted to make new videos. After about 5 months, I decided to be petty again by making another video entirely giving my thoughts on alleging as to why he could be considered a groomer. Didn't actually call him one, but you get the idea. Fast forward a few days and the video garners some form of attention in the community, so much so that the man Blanca Louie himself is in my comments, like I said, only commenting about me yet running and hiding away like a scared little rat whenever the light gets shown to his arguments. I mean, I did get a good laugh when he claimed that I was a creep all because I was thirsting over my personal taste, when let's be honest, I don't think the guy has a right to talk about anyone's personal taste when his Reddit was filled with constant posts about a fictional anime character, constantly praising her like she's about to appear out of your screen and congratulate you on your degeneracy. He also had the audacity to claim that May from Pokemon, who's 10 years old by the way, was of legal age to lewd and allow porn of in his R18 server at the time. Really says a lot about the types of people you can encounter in this fandom. Regarding that little section I added in my video with the woman walking with her rear almost exposed, what if I told you that was for comedic value purposes? Don't believe me on that either? Well, how's about we take to listen to what I said after that? That's all I'm gonna say though, because I don't want you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to get into too much detail and then y'all start spanking y'all flesh to the video and shit. Cut that shit out. Cut that shit out, my nigga. Get your hands out your boxers. I'm still here, my nigga. Go to Rule 34 and roll one out, then come back to the video, my nigga. Chill. You get it? It's a joke. Maybe not a good one, but even I'm liable to throwing out some corny ass zingers. But really, it's not like I could blame you for your lack of understanding my sense of humor. Something I find hilarious, in fact, is the fact that Blanc seemed very eager to make the argument that Ty was wrong to have such a derogatory term in his bio to where children would be able to see it, which I would agree, but you're forgetting about having to click on his profile in order to actually see it. And also because of the fact Blanc in the same breath says you can't promote use of the N-word, the hard R, around minors, seeing as they'll replicate and use the word themselves, which is a very interesting phrase to use from someone who would have two servers, one of them say for work and the other promoting NSFW content with minors in your server. And considering the phrase you use in your argument with Ty, Blanca Louie, according to your logic, wouldn't it basically be the same thing just under a different circumstance since you actively promoted the NSFW link in said server that housed said minors in it? Isn't being protected of these minors something you and your community of gooners claim to care so much about? Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if a majority of his former admins and current supporters are also hypocrites, but I guess maybe he assumed that he could say one thing to one person, a different thing to another, and we wouldn't figure that out. So let me wrap this up by making sure I understand this correctly. So it's okay to bring up topics regarding to my situation from years ago when I was a minor, but not something you yourself and your gooning buddies advocate for as adults? Because the way Dentrick, including an entirety of the people that's read your doc regarding the section where you said that I did something illegal, you seem real adamant about this fact considering that you yourself had a link to your NSFW server promoting it in Game Industry Evolve as safe for work server. So going by your own logic, that would mean that either you don't really think that minors sending NSFW to each other is actually a problem, since in your own words, the people in your server at the time were quote unquote free to do whatever they want, which could allude to some of the minors in your own server debating and discussing NSFW topics, or you really don't care what others do as long as you're willing to lie about the situation just to get other people that hate me to suck up to you. And if that is the case, going by your logic, of course, would that excuse the same minors from your server from sending NSFW to other minors? But oh, I thought protecting the kids was important to you, Mr. Louie. I mean, you did say so yourself by trying to justify pedophilia against racism. That or your friend Extronomy actually calling my friend the hard R.
Yo, why you calling me the N-word, bro? Like, bro, you got caught in 4K. I got the screenshot, little bro. Hello? You need that talk? Did you mute us some shit? Like, bro, how you call me the N-word? Like, come on, bro. It's disrespectful, bro. Come on now. You don't just call me the N-word, bro. Come on now. I did not to you. I ain't bullied you. I ain't start rashing you. It's not snitching on people, bro. Oh, you bitch. Oh, fuck you, nigga. He left. Die. His bitch ass left.
But I guess when it's something pertaining to me or anyone else you people don't like, it's a problem all of a sudden. Like, is your brain even working at this point? I mean, I would assume it stopped working a while ago, considering all you do is simp for Whiteheart every day, you fucking nerd. All things considered, his deceit, claiming to care about creating a safe environment in his former server, then actively caught promoting an SFW, not caring for the safety of the same minors he so desperately tried to accuse my buddy Dentrick of harming and housing, hiding secret channels of Rom and Ram, these being lolly characters, calling a friend of mine racist for not wanting to associate himself with an era that had nothing to do with them, or I'd rather refer to that as closeted racism possibly. Nobody could blame him for that either. And although this may seem crude to discuss in the first place, Blanc, you're the one that approves the idea of having a minors in your server, while Dentrick on the other hand at least felt some semblance of guilt and decided against it. So I find it odd that you aren't hitting D up for an invite to join in yourselves along with the rest of your so-called buddies. But I guess that's only if you're against someone you don't like. Or better yet, you don't know. Look, I'm not trying to defend my friends for their behavior, Dentrick for what he did, or even defend my actions by making it seem that what I've done is to be looked at as less critical by comparison, but I will say that Blanca Louie and a majority of his mentally ill supporters such as Nico, Zack Attack, Tracer, and whoever else virtually rides me and my friends his dick every day of the week, these people are not the exception, but rather the example of why this community is the way it is now. And hell, if you really didn't want this entire drama between us to escalate, then you should have listened to me and spoofed the first time, you dumbass. One last thing I'd like to share, and while it doesn't necessarily pertain to Blanca Louie himself, though he's a part of it, is the argument in his doc where he says if I believe that Kazumi was discussing lewd topics pertaining to lollies, why would I let someone like that mind do the same thing I hate in my server? And I have an answer for that as well, so let's clear the air on that. So back when I was in one of GE's voice channels when the server was still around, I had joined the call with Kazumi and everyone else that was in the channel. If I recall correctly, the conversation had steered from a talk about Ram and Ram being broken as characters in their respective games to someone talking about Ram and Ram in that way. What eventually ended up happening was that I had accidentally misunderstood a joke that was being said and evolved in his voice channel, and the predator in question, Kazumi, was actually being accused by another member called Dark 8 for liking Ram and Ram in that way.
I mean, at least you're not like Marcus, where you're liking like Robin Man, you know.
And seeing as I came into the voice channel late, you can easily see why I thought that these were just Neptunia fans being down bad shitheads again. After this whole ordeal, and after seeing my video that I uploaded on Game Industry Evolve, Kazumi then decided to hop in a voice call with me to clear his name on the subject. He provided screenshot proof of this Dark 8 character going into other servers and just being an absolute nuisance, along with some of the other stupid shit he's done later down the line, which was later proved when I decided to rewatch the video I recorded when I was present in call that day. After this whole ordeal, I took the time to apologize to Kazumi for this sudden rash decision for being too willing to jump out of the window with my approach to this situation. This is completely fair and I was in the wrong. I definitely deserve the backlash I got from Kazumi for this, and I'm definitely not against receiving the same treatment I give others here on my channel. Unfortunately, I was quick to jump the gun, misinterpreting the situation and labeling Kazumi as some sort of weirdo without proof, when in actuality, that wasn't the case at all. And for context, the reason he's even in my server in the first place is because after I realized that he wasn't weird, he actually turned out to be a really cool guy, so I decided to let him in because we share the same interest in Neptunia. Not unlike you and your plethora of delusional fictional lolly chasing cucks. Also, I never doxed anyone, in case you're wondering. The dumbass's pictures are public on his Twitter, and I just so happened to stumble across them while in the process of creating a now non-important video about a not so very important server from a bootlicking shitheel that he, including a majority of his group of delusional yet unimportant peons, are a part of. That's not considered doxing, since doxing requires a person to steal private information, then post it without their consent. If you didn't want your photo out there, maybe you should have privated your Twitter sooner. Must be a lolicon thing. Alzheimer's got y'all fucked up, huh? I only bring this up because although some of these people that defend you or whatever excuse you, including any other person in this community, makes, you guys' behavior is representative of a 14-year-old in a Call of Duty lobby in 2012. Now, I don't think there's a better way of describing this group of people. They're all terminally online blubbering man babies that want you to think that they're the exception to this bad behavior when they themselves are actually the example. These are the types of people that want to be seen so badly as the heroes of the community, but the reality is that a majority of these individuals are nothing short of short-tempered crybabies that resort to screaming and name calling if they can't outsmart or intimidate you. They all act like they're tough shit over the internet because their cardiovascular systems won't allow it in real life. Even online, a majority of their shit talking takes place in a room full of their peers because they're too afraid to confront the person in question alone. Now who's the coward? Bitch. Lately, I haven't been interacting with the Neptunia fandom as much as I have watched it from a safe distance. That shit tends to be as shitty as fandoms can be. Imagine a house of mirrors full of kids who desperately want to fit in because they're extremely insecure and also have a lack of social skills. When you're on the outside looking in, you start to notice certain patterns that repeat themselves scarily often. It could be absolutely anything, this ranging from jokes or maybe a channel style to devoting yourself to an anime character and their personality entirely. Yeah, just stay away from those kinds of people if you can. But Zero, clearly you have a reason as to why you're doing all this, which begs the question, what's your final stance on the Neptunia community? Well, to be completely honest with you all, not all of it is completely negative, but I can't say a majority of it is all positive either. However, I will say that it definitely is a subjective experience even for someone of my standing. I got the opportunity to not only encounter various types of individuals within the community, but also make wacky videos out of, which, by the way, my second Game Ministry Evolved video has long since been removed from a copyright striking loser that was affiliated with someone I made a video about, and since I wanted to distance myself from the Neptunia fandom, until now. Can I still enjoy this fandom despite its flaws? Nope, just barely. Only when I'm occasionally interacting with my friends will I seem somewhat enlightened, and even then I get frequently annoyed and reminded on why this fandom is undeniably a frustrating disappointment because of the types of people that linger here. Now, do I think that some of these people are actual progressive fans who support equality, diversity, and acceptance of one another? No. These people are more than likely mentally ill and using whatever movement fits their bias as long as they can use it as an excuse to attack people they don't like. And for people like Blanca Louie, who's admitted to having a young audience in the past, though apparently one of his servers were considered 18+ as most of these Neptunia sub-communities are. But let's not act like anybody's checking IDs at the door. And unless you are, this 18+ tactic works the same way as a porn website would. Click 18+ to enter or no to leave. SWAT teams aren't breaking down doors and kicking in teeth of liars, and I assume you would all know that. So let's clarify. I'm not hiding, and most importantly, I don't have to hide. I've been here the entire time, and unless I want to try to scrub my entire digital footprint from the Neptunia community, I'll remain here. But understand this, throughout the past month, I've kept reading and hearing Zeroseconds Discord, Zeroseconds Friends, Zeroseconds channel, Zeroseconds responsibility. And you know what? You're right. It is my responsibility. It's my job to step up to be the bigger person and hold others accountable for their shitty behavior. And I'll talk about it whenever I damn well please. Hopefully by this point of the video, you'll start to understand why I haven't said anything until now. These people have no integrity. They don't actually care about the feelings of their so-called friends, nor do they care about being fans of this franchise, nor do they actually care about their so-called friends as much as they make it seem like they do. They just want to use other people, not caring who they have to step on or over to achieve their goals. If I've learned one thing from these people though, is that they hate themselves almost as much as they hate each other. This person talks bad about that person, talks about the next person, and it's an endless cycle of hatred and misery. These people exude, don't fuck with me because I'm unbathed and terminally online and haven't showered for almost a month. At this point, I have no interest in discussing the Neptunia community, nor do I want to talk about whatever these degenerate fucks do in their free time as they continue to spoil the community with their behavior. I'm not running, I just don't have the energy to continue beating the dead horse over and over again. And I'm definitely not going to allow people like Nico or Blanca Louie to skew the narrative or force me to talk about something until I'm ready to damn well do so. They aren't my community, I don't care about them, and they sure as hell aren't real fans of this community I've been a part of for damn near 10 years. I plan to address this on my own time, and now that I have, I am done. I moved on. They can continue talking shit about me to their fake friends, and they can damn well continue to prove how important I am to them, this community, and myself. At the end of the day, I really don't give a shit what they think. It's my audience, the people who enjoy me for my content, enjoy me for me, that are a part of my community that I owe anything to, and I apologize for keeping most of this a secret to you all. For anyone who chooses to leave, know that I appreciate you more than I do these fake and soulless Neptunia posers, and I hope you can find even better content in the future. For those of you who choose to stay, just know that you may see these people in the comments from time to time. You can feel free to engage them, but just know that no matter what they say or think, they aren't very bright and they aren't open-minded. So it's just best that you ignore them and let them rot at the bottom of the comments list. Unfortunately though, I'll have to break a promise I made to my dear friend Dentrick. I know you didn't want me to involve you in this mess, but I couldn't just sit around and let some guy who wasn't even involved with your drama at the time slander you and misconstrue the whole story. You've already apologized and made peace with the fact that you've already done so. It's your drama and it's attached to your name, and Dentrick can address it whenever the hell he goddamn needs and wants to. And he doesn't need to give any of you that authority. He's moved past it. You do the same. For those in the Nepcord or those from Blanca Louie's former Evolve server, or anyone in this fandom that hate watches me, I know you think that you're special, and I know that you think you deserve answers, but the simple yet crushing reality is that none of you are. You aren't special, nor is Nico, or Nepcord, Game Industry Evolved, Blanca Louie, nor me, Dentrix certainly is, but neither him or me will give any of you another second of our time, and we don't owe you elementary school gossipers a damn thing. As much as I may have a strong dislike for some of the people in this community and how they go about doing things, at the end of the day, it's important to remember one thing. Accountability, responsibility, and authority are all contributing factors into making a difference in the fandom. If there's one thing I'd say about this fandom, it would be this. Though there are some good apples here, a good majority of them don't actually care about the problems that the community itself has to bring, or will rather turn a blind eye by not associating themselves with it in order to better the community by removing the bad apples from the space, but instead would rather use the space to fuel their own egos instead. And while some of these people claim that they're fans, a majority of these people don't give an actual shit about being a fan or the type of crowd it brings, but rather the illusion of it, let alone have a good reason to be here. And as a good friend of mine said, the Neptunia community is a swirl black hole of cringe, delusion, overall self-righteous yet contradicting assholes where the result of parasociality combines with unchecked egos, incompetence, ignorance, and degrading social rejects to create the perfect balance, or rather the illusion of it, that will forever pander to the brain dead, with some of these individuals having less critical thinking of a dementia patient and lack of self-awareness. This video may do nothing but excite people, seeing as I'm the guy that went around quote-unquote harassing people, and now that I'm getting the same treatment, I'll delete my account and leave the community, causing these people to celebrate thinking they're the cause of my so-called downfall. But regardless, you'd be wrong anyways. I'll still be around, but just barely interacting with the community anymore. And of course, I'll occasionally chime in every so often to talk to my friends I made just to see if anything has come up with their personal lives. But other than that, I'll be focusing on more content rather than drama farming this dead community that's full of irresponsible, low standard, and toxic morale having pussies. Anyways, I hope you've taken a liking to what I had to say, and hopefully you'll take this as a learning experience and vice versa, because there's no telling when I'll make another whack upload. Of what exactly? I'll leave to your imagination. This is 0 Seconds, logging out.